of the Butterfly Throne podcast, hosted by your girl Star. This is like my fourth or fifth time recording this episode. Um, Especially live. It's nerve wracking, especially when so much going on. So I'm gonna make this live very quick, short, easy. It is what it is. Um, I'm just gonna recap Elimination Chamber as well as Raw. Um, Mind you, when I'm live, I'm doing this from my phone. So if there are comments, I won't be able to see it until after I'm done. Um, I'm in the process of getting me a tablet or a laptop. I'm still choosing to do this podcast and stuff off of, but bear with me. Let's get right into it. To keep it short and sweet, let's get into Elimination Chamber. That was this past Saturday, February 28th, 2026, in Chicago, Illinois. The first match is the Women's Elimination Chamber match, where you have Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, Kiana James, and Asuka. It was a pretty okay match. The women's did okay in it. I wanted more. The MVPs of that match was Kiana James and Raquel Rodriguez. Um, I would definitely wanted Raquel to win. If not her, it would be Alexa Bliss. I don't have an issue with Rhea. Um, Rhea, the one who won the Elimination Chamber, to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. They also have this whole internet beef thing going on currently. That's on X or slash Twitter. That's getting out of hand. So I don't know if that's real or part of the storyline of kayfabe. Who knows? The match, I would rate that as a 7. It was 6.5 or 7. You know what I mean? 7 is being generous, but still. Um, Next, you have the AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's IC Champion, with AJ Lee winning. Honestly, I feel like they could have used this match on a Raw. I feel like it was a waste of space and waste of time when it comes to the audience and those who pay their money for this. I feel like this was definitely supposed to be a episode of Raw. It could have been an episode of Raw. You know what I mean? They none of them need this as a PLE. If I'm being honest, um, I gave that match a 5.5. Again, could have been an episode of Raw. If I'm being honest. Um, but yeah, other than that, I get why people want to see it because it's AJ Lee, and she even said this is her first title in 12 years, and it happens to be an IC champion. So yeah, the next one is CM Punk versus Finn Balor. We already know that Finn Balor wasn't going to win this due to the storyline between CM Punk and Roman. But in all general, I personally knew he wasn't going to win like the rest of you. Uh, Honestly, I was just mostly just judging the match for what it is because they using this to help build Finn Balor as a main event contender along with the rest of them. Um, so yeah, I'm like, even though I feel like this is 10 years, it's been overdue because he won the United States champion and had to relinquish it 10 years ago due to an injury within 24 hours. And you had all that time to build him back up into that main event picture and chose not to. Chose him, kept him mid card level. Chose him, put him in a Judgment Day as the leader, but then he became a background person and have Rhea and Damian as the leaders or whatever the case might be. Him playing video games and cracking jokes, and it's like it was a disrespectful to me. It was disrespect on the part of fan for me. Like you've been playing in fan face for so long, so I guess this is their way of listening to the fans and trying to make up for it. But then again, it's WWE, so therefore I don't expect them to keep it up the momentum without fucking it up at some point. Then there was a spot that was Danhausen. Again, this also could have been a fucking part of Raw, because why the fuck are you wasting the time slot that could have went to a tag team type of thing? Because you had both the men's and the tag team in this whole thing with Johnny Gargano as well as on Raw. Y'all could have did a whole fatal 4-way tag team match, a triple threat match for the tag team to figure out who's gonna be the number one contender for the MFC titles or for the Usos title, and chose not to do that, which is beyond me. And then how someone could have waited until Monday Night Raw. You didn't have to carry a fucking box from the beginning of February to the end of February in order for this motherfucker to come out and motherfuckers to looking like, who the fuck is this? And if you don't watch AEW, Danhausen is from AEW. That was in a box. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Last, you had the men's elimination chamber match where you have Trick Williams, Javon Evans, even though they fumbled with it and called him Javon Williams, which, nigga, you had one job, and that was to say his name the way he is, Javon Evans, not Javon Williams, because they did the same thing during AJ match with Becky and called her AJ Styles instead of AJ Lee. I don't like the notion that people keep saying that there were 3 black men, meaning Trick, the Javon, and Cody, being up on Logan Paul. I get the IWC joke when trying to have fun with it, but I feel like this shit is getting old. And it was a level of disrespect when it came to Black History Month, me personally. But yeah. My only irritation is that all 5 of them had a job to do, and that was to get fucking Logan Paul out of that. Beat his ass and get him out of that. But no. You had to let this man take out 2 black men in an LA night. 2 black men is in Javon and Trick Wings. Got them out before you had Seth Rollins to come clean up that mess and do the job I wanted them to do, was to get the fucking Logan Paul out of there. I feel like y'all have a job to do to get this man out of here, because I'm tired of him being in the bottom 3 or 2 when it comes to Royal Rumble as fucking this. So yeah, I feel like Seth Rollins pulled through for me when it came to that, was to get him out of that. Cody did a followed by a crossroad where it ended up to an RKO on Cody from Randy, and Randy ended up winning, which I'm happy with the result, because I did not want fucking Cody Rhodes to win that at all. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I did not want him to win. I feel like he's at the point where, as much fans bitch about Roman being champion and don't need it, Cody don't need it either. I feel like fair is fair. If you're going to bitch about one, bitch about the other one as well. Keep the same energy. If Roman doesn't need it, Cody doesn't need it either. Rotate that shit around. You have other superstars that you can put in that motherfucker to face these men for their title. I'm just saying. I gave that match a 7. I was expecting Javon to jump off shit and be him in highlight reel, but it didn't happen. Except for the part where Logan Paul supposedly gave him a move that then that part took his ass out or didn't injure him, which I need to go back and relook. But yeah, other than that, it was. I know on social media, on TikTok, I gave the Elimination Chamber in general between a 7 and 8. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give it a solid 6.7 to 7. 5's rating. I mean, could have been better. I don't know if it's just as equal to or better than Survivor Series. Who knows? But yeah. Next, let's get to Raw. Raw opened up with the Vision. Vince saying about Elimination Chamber, how Logan Paul and Paul Heyman feel like Seth Rollins returning at Elimination Chamber to screw Logan Paul out of the Elimination Chamber match. Honestly, I was thrilled for it, because we don't need Logan Paul as champion. Fuck that dude. It ended up with all these masked men coming out of the blue to distract Theory and Logan Paul to isolate Paul Heyman by himself for Seth to come out of nowhere, hit him with a chair, and curb stomp him. Mind you, the Raw from yesterday, which was March 2nd, March 2nd, was in Indianapolis, where the Shield debuted, but also broke up, or, whatever the case may be, was portrayed by Seth Rollins. So, yeah, that was also the theme of Monday Night Raw, if those who ain't paid attention there. The whole blood thing that Paul Heyman was under his nose, that looked like fake blood / ketchup that you use in horror movies is, yeah, let's be honest, that shit looked fake. You had LA Knight, they put Paul Heyman into an ambulance to drive him to the nearest facility, which we already know ain't going nowhere, with LA Knight the driver. But also out of the blue, you had Jimmy Sucker Punch Theory, because Jimmy felt like Division was the reason why his brother got attacked, so in order to get him out the Elimination Chamber. But also, which I still feel like it was Sammy. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that. I feel like that was Sammy who did that. I mean, I could be wrong. It could have been Jimmy. It could have been Division himself. But I'm going to stick with Sammy. Because Sammy's whole action that night was oppish. Just being honest. There was also a match between Jimmy and Theory, where it ended up in disqualification due to Logan Paul. And then also Jay ended up coming out to help his brother, hitting Logan Paul in Theory with a crutch. To basically take them out for the rest of the night. And then there was also a segment with AJ Lee, and Kairi Sane in the backstage with Asuka. Also, no, not with Asuka. Yeah, with Asuka. Also, AJ going to the middle of the ring segment where she putting the women's on the Raw roster on notice, saying that she said she wanted to fight all the women of today's wrestling that was on the main roster, and that she wants to become a fighting champion. That means putting her title online. I don't know how often she's doing it. I don't know if she's doing it weekly or whatever, like how Punk is. Who knows? But we'll see. There was also a segment between Io and Rhea. Io wants Rhea to go to SmackDown in order to get the opportunity to face Jade, despite them being separated from each other and whatnot. Jade, not Jade, Rhea had a message for Jade. And again, to touch back on to the beef they having currently on Twitter and X, that seems like for real, in real life thing, and not kayfabe. But then again, is there they maybe playing into it as a storyline? Who knows? Then there was a Gunther and Dragon Lee match where Gunther ended up winning. And let's be honest, Gunther was playing him like a fucking rag doll, playing with him like he playing with his food, which resulted in Dragon Lee tapping out because of Gunther took off his mask. And you know how luchadors like to keep their identity secret and hidden. So yeah. Then there was also a face-off moment between Obafemi and Rusev. And Rusev calling out Obafemi to say that I'm tired about the whole backstage eye-to-eye moment that he's willing to fight Oba. They went at it in the middle of the ring with Oba getting the upper hand. Then there was Judgment Day segment with Judgment Day where you have Dom stating the fact that him losing to CM Punk and now that that's over with, that he wanted their help to keep his IC champion, despite Dom telling Finn that he wanted to do this on his own and whatnot. So basically Finn and JD came out to the ring to sit there and watch the match as it went on between Penta and Dom, where Dom asked JD to give the hammer, the ring hammer, um, and Finn told him no, that he said he wanted to do it on his own, and for he has to do this on his own. Penta taking them out, and then end up winning against Dom and become the IC champion, the first belt of his career in WWE. I'm sorry. That was more like a. Okay, that match is 6. I mean, yeah, it could be better, but whatever. And then the night ended with the segment between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. When I tell you that promo was messy. You got Roman telling CM Punk that you only here so we can make money off your ass, basically. Saying that you only here for merchandise and stuff like that so we can make money from you. And Punk bringing up how Roman said he hated him and shit like that. To the point where Roman got disrespectful in certain ways, where he was like, I'm going to retire your ass. And then I'm going to send your ass. He's like, no, I'm going to retire your ass so that way you can go down to NXT, become a coach and train the next superstar so you can send them up to me so I can whoop their ass as well. CM Punk felt some type of way about it because you can see it in his face, like, this motherfucker, basically. And so Roman would hit him low, but then CM Punk went lower, then into hell. When he said that, basically calling him out his name, and that talking about he's gonna bury Roman, bury his career, whatever, bury him next to his daddy. Now, if I was Roman, I won't take that fucking insult laying down. The fact that you let this man leave the ring when he says some shit like that, instead of putting your fist across his face, or your foot up his ass, is beyond me. Because that's it's one thing to talk about my career, but you're talking about my daddy, saying you gonna bury me next to my daddy, nigga. Nah. At this point, fuck kayfabe, fuck the storyline. Come on, let's run them hands. And at this point, since you went super low to the earth, I'm gonna need Roman next week to go to hell. When he talk about not only the fucking dog Larry of CM Punk that passed away, but also mention his wife. And if you don't, just mention the dog or whatever else. You know what I mean? Hell, even bring up AEW and have nobody want him in that fucking company. At this point, I'm just here for the fucking drama. You know what I mean? I'm here for the drama. Feed me more. But yeah, that's my review. I might do NXT and SmackDown probably soon. I don't know when. So don't quote me on that. But thank you for listening. To listen to me vent. To enjoy the episode of the recap of Elimination Chamber as well as the Monday Night Raw. Thank you for watching another episode, or episode 3 of the Butterfly Throne podcast, hosted by me, Star. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye.